Hey, what's up folks, and welcome back to another 3D Hangouts. My name is Noel Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit, and joining me every week is my brother Pedro.
Good morning everybody, I'm Pedro Ruiz, Creative Tech here at Adafruit, and every week we're here to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right, this is a show where we combine 3D printing and DIY electronics to make inspirational projects.
So last week was a bit of a break as we mourn the death of George Floyd, and just we're silencing ourselves so other voices can be amplified for the Black Lives Matter movement.
It's really front and center, so if you go on the website, it is there, there's a banner, and it's really an important call to action. It's basically a list of resources and links that the internal folks have been putting together. It's an ongoing list, it's going to be updated. A lot of the folks have been out there signing petitions, internal folks are donating, and Adafruit team members are actually out there protesting against anti-racism,
Anti-racism, yeah. So one of the most call to action things you can do is the bail bonds, I think, is very helpful for the protesters out there. And then one of the things that's becoming front and center is a lot of the policies that need to be reformed for the police. So a lot of defunding that needs to be happening. It's kind of crazy where their budgets are a lot more higher than the education budgets or even some of the road work or things that should have a lot more budget than having a militarized police. So that is one of the front and center actions that you can take, figuring out what your local representatives are and emailing them, letting your voices be heard, and then obviously electing officials that have these same views.
So folks that are out there protesting, there is a nice resource that internal folks have put together. Digital privacy and taking security measures for staying safe while you're out there protesting. So this is a great resource. Definitely check it out. It's featured on the blog. So how to get ready, prepare yourself for this, using the buddy system, documents to keep with you, preparing your phone, lots of tips. There's a list of apps and things. What do you do when things get weird, right? So this is going to be really helpful for folks that are out there protesting. And there, of course, there's always some learn guides for some projects that can help you to assist in the fight. Let's see here.
Yeah, Adafruit's been doing a lot before this. One of the big causes that we were pushing forward was the Black Girls Code, donating a lot of Circuit Player Expresses for
This Monday, the manufacturing team is putting together all those things and sending them out. Like you said, we've been doing it for years now. We're just going to continue to do it.
Mm-hmm. One of the other causes too was the Black game developer organizations.
And that's all actually in this list as well. So check that out.
And that is at adafruit.com/Black Lives Matter. It's going to be updated every day by a lot of the team members, which if you have not seen, Adafruit is in New York, melting pot. This is what Adafruit looks like. Huge wave of different colors, backgrounds, races, creeds. It's all at Adafruit. So that is everybody who is making all the products that you guys buy and use in all your projects.
Let's see, I got some more stuff here. One of the kind of things that Adafruit can also do when purchasing from suppliers, there's lists of things that your company has to do to ensure that your products are safe, that they're sanitized. It's a lot of paperwork. So one of the ideas is for those giant, large media corporations that are asking to purchase from Adafruit, well, we're going to start telling them, hey, please send us a list to your public statement about anti-racism. Where do you stand with that? I mean, Adafruit has a lot of things to do, fill out forms, terms of purchasing, and we get asked to sign that we promise not to sell to terrorist organizations. So in that same vein, we're going to start doing that for our suppliers. So this is going to stay here and continue.
And one of the things that we've been doing in terms of actionable items, since we can't be on the front lines with the protesters, always have their backs, is educating the next generation. Having kids understand, especially with COVID and everything going on, there's probably going to be less social interaction between kids. We have to make sure that they all understand that all races and creeds, there's no one better than the other. We're all humans. And one of the things that subconsciously that kids think when they're watching a lot of media or even the educational content is, that, all races are, we're all human. So being able to talk about all of this with your kids to make sure that the next generation understands that, you know.
So if you're struggling with that, we have a nice list of reading material. So there's some books that you could read and really educate yourself and listen and have this uncomfortable conversation with your family and your friends and your kids if you have them.
Yeah, one of the things that's going on right now, front and center on the blog, is you know, just the community that's going on live right now on
the House Judiciary Committee hearing on police brutality and racial profiling. It's happening right now.
So again, to reiterate, is, you know, figure out who your elected officials are, get your voices heard, and make sure that there's more funds going into education and not the militarization of police.
All right, so like I said, it's a continuing, ongoing battle that we're going to help amplify the voices of everybody.
Yeah, and then, you know, heartbreaking to see all this with the way we've grown up. Black people have always been, you know, super helpful. It's why we are where we're at. Our commercial arts teachers, Mr. Thompson, Miss Arcari, is the reason why we were able to learn, that we learned all of these skills that we know, like for production and for graphic design, for video editing. It's where I learned Maya, 3D animation. Even in, as we were getting into high school, it was our principal, Mrs. Banks, who got us internships at the Palm Beach County Zoning Division, where we had, you know, really good jobs because of, you know, all the people that, black people that helped us get our portfolios ready. Our business mentor, Terrence Tuck, black. So that's how we know, that's how we've experienced black people as hardworking professionals. So it definitely breaks our heart to see, you know, a lot of the, you know, what's going on right now.
Yeah, and to experience like racial profiling here in our new neighborhood was pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, we have a nice mix of races in here, and you know, all it takes is one person to complain about, you know, just one black guy who's walking around not doing anything wrong, just, you know, taking a walk. I was actually walking my dog. I met him, and he was just asked me, you know, if the Uber would come into the neighborhood. And because of, you know, just one person who complained about that, we had a bunch of detectives going through our entire neighborhood looking for this one guy. And, you know, they came knocking on our door, unmarked police cars. And luckily, you know, I didn't think that was the cop. Luckily, I was able to talk to them through our camera. You know, I didn't go out there. And we actually had to call the police department to make sure that this was an actual cop going through our neighborhood, because you know, he didn't leave a card, but yeah, he didn't leave a card behind. He didn't have any info on what he actually wanted. So after we called the police department, we saw that it was, or they didn't even know that the detective was, you know, sent down here. So that just gives you a little bit of taste of what, you know, we've seen even in our own neighborhood. All it takes is one person who that isn't, you know, one Karen who is complaining about, you know, just a person of color walking down the street.
And there's no easy way to segue out of this, but that's what we're doing here, and a little bit of our experiences there.
Yeah. So go ahead and continue on with the show. As you said, no easy way to transition to it, but let's go ahead and continue on with last week's and this week's projects.
Yeah, so this week we have a Raspberry Pi project. So we got our hands on the new Pi camera, the HQ camera, and we figured we'd put a case together. I'm trying to get to my camera. There we go. So this is our little 3D printed case for the Pi 4. So the Pi 4 has a little bit of a difference than the Pi 3. So I made sure to accommodate for all the different components that were moved. We got our 2 micro HDMI ports over here, and we got access to the GPIO pins in the back there. A couple comments on the ribbon cable. It's kind of out there, and it looks like it could be, you know, better secured, but because of how low profile it is to this back cover here, we just kind of have it out there. So if you are going to build that, just be aware and be kind of careful with the ribbon cable. if you don't want to damage that. But it is a snap fit design and it's modular. And I'm kind of going to take it apart here. Just going to show that it snap fits. But so what's cool about it is that it's a C-mount lens adapter, or compatible with C-mount lenses and CS mount lenses. So this is a lens we got on Amazon that is actually pretty good. I think it's around $30 to $40.
Yeah.
And it has a super nice low f. That's the aperture, how much light it can allow into the camera. It's a manual f-stop here, so this has it goes down to a 1.6, which is pretty good when it comes to lenses. So this is a pretty sweet one. We have it linked in the Learn guide as well if folks want to take a crack at getting a nice quality lens. The only thing about this is it's a 35mm lens, and with that, it's actually quite close up.
And that's because there is a crop factor that's going on in there, so where it is zooming up on the image. So what a 35mm would be, it actually bumps it up to about like 85mm, I believe. It's pretty close. So you definitely want to get something like a fisheye lens if you want to get a wider angle.
Yeah. And I really like that it has a built-in tripod screw. This is like an aluminum bracket here that's like tied onto the PCB, so it's got really nice, nice build quality to it. And when it comes to the actual quality of the camera, taking stills is really nice, but how about video? Since we really like to shoot video, we did some video tests, and this is what we got. So this is our little puppy named Rufio. He's actually right down there sleeping. So we're out in the daytime. Probably the best time to film is daytime. A little bit overblown, but you can recover some of that data. Here is a shot of outside looking at the sky.
Yeah, very surprising that you're able to do a little bit of color correction without having the image completely fall apart. So the bitrate, even though it's at 25 megabits a second, you are able to get pretty good recovery on
25 megabits is pretty good. What's cool is that you have some nice controls to adjust things like the ISO and the EV, which is like the exposure compensation, and the bit rate. You can explicitly say how much bit rate do you want. So adding that into while you're recording is really nice to be able to say, I want the highest quality.
Yeah.
And
Andy Calloway in the chat is asking, what is the resolution of the camera? It's a 1920 by 1080.
For video, yeah, 1920 by 1080. So in the Learn guide, we reference to the, it's a PDF on the Raspberry Pi Foundation site, and you can download it. It's a free PDF, and it really goes through all the different camera settings, the camera specs. I was just on that, looking at it and trying out all the different settings. So it's definitely a great resource. It's the resource, really, if you want to capture whether it's photography or some video with the new HQ camera. So check it out. It's definitely a great read. Even if you don't have the camera, just find out how all the different things. And there's a lot of example code too, which is what we're going to start doing, is playing around with different ways to trigger it. We think it'd make a really good addition to our time-lapse setup. So we're going to try playing around with that once we get some more time.
And then James McDonald in the YouTube chat is asking if this could be used as a webcam. And Maker Melissa was doing some tests, using it as a webcam, and she was able to get some really good tests out of that. So be on the lookout for some code for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of testing still to do. We really need to see how well it works as a webcam and in a low light condition. So that'd be really nice to see.
That's gonna be our next test on that.
Cool. So check it out. Just a little case. What I really like about it is sort of the PCB mount. Oh, man, I wish I had this little guy here is like, it's a 20-minute print, which is awesome. So if you just need a good way to secure the camera module to the back of the Pi, it's 20 minutes. Yay. It needs a couple of hardware screws. It's the M2.5 nylon screws. But we have a kit too. If you're looking for some screws, we tend to use these for a lot of different projects. There it is. So you can pick that up if you need some of the hardwares. And of course, there's lots of accessories you kind of need for this setup, particularly the power supply. It's specifically for powering the Pi 4, so you need a little bit of extra amperage, that little bit of extra voltage too, and it's a USB-C connector on there. We are stocking these lenses. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to test those lenses. They're actually from the Pi Foundation. They're the folks that are supplying this to us, and we haven't been able to get our hands on those yet. So that's why we're like, we need to buy this other lens.
Yeah, so we can't attest to the build quality. Some of the image samples of it does look pretty good, but again, we don't know what the build quality is until we get them in.
The Pi camera module itself does come with a ribbon cable that connects to, and it supports like all of the versions of the Raspberry Pi, even the older versions, which is interesting. But if you are doing something where you need a longer cable or maybe even a shorter cable, Adafruit's got some a nice assortment of the flex cables for the Pi camera. So here I am on the site, and they're all segmented by how long they are. Some of them, a lot of them are out of stock, but we do have these two here, and they come in Adafruit Black, of course. So those are some nice accessories there. Also, the micro to HDMI cable is something that we kind of didn't have, so it was nice to pick that up and have that available in the shop.
And then James McDonald is asking if this has been tested with OBS, which is the Open Broadcast software system.
Yep.
I think that is exactly what Melissa was testing that on. So more to come on that, but I think it should work. It's piping in audio and video, so definitely some promising tests going on there.
Cool. And one more shot of the puppy. There it is.
Everybody likes puppies.
Yeah.
So there are some auto exposure, I think, that we left on for the settings there, so definitely be aware of that.
Yeah, there's still stuff to test there.
And then one of the things that we saw right at the end after everything was published was that we were able to get it to run on the, what is it, the 14 milliamp hour battery?
Yeah, that was interesting. So I wouldn't recommend this, but apparently you can run it off of a 5-volt USB battery. We need to do more testing on it, but we were really surprised that it worked longer than a half hour, which is surprising. Mm-hmm. There's no fan on it either, so it was a little bit hot. We didn't measure the heat, but it was a little bit hot. The case didn't melt. We are in South Florida, more Central Florida now, but that's one thing to be aware of too. If you're running it long, gonna probably need a fan on the chip.
Yeah, after running it for a half hour, I didn't feel it being so hot. So
right.
Again, that could your mileage may vary on that one.
Right. So when it came to modularity, I really wanted this to be a modular case. So what I'm doing here is just taking out the ribbon cable, so I can take this out, and then you have access to all the bits there. Yeah. Let's take the lens off here. So it's a 5-piece design, right? So you got this back cover here that just kind of protects that, but still exposes a couple of the ribbon connectors and the GPIO stuff there. And then the front also has a snap fit cover. Don't want that to roll off the table. And I always try to make the snap fits kind of easy to open, but also kind of difficult to open, depending on what part needs to hold it better. So these snaps here are a little bit thicker and bigger here on this end, so you can take that out, and you can kind of get a look at the inside here of how it's secured there. And then this extra frame here just kind of provides some more coverage, but it's still snap fit, so this comes out like that. And then now you have just this frame here that has these tabs that are secured to the corresponding tabs on the PCB mount. So if you wanted to just have the PCB mount, you could totally do that. But I really like this frame here because it gives you a little bit of surface area to kind of grab onto. And you can, modify these pieces to have extra, maybe a tripod screw in the top here for a display, or a handle here so you can hold it better. So that's really cool that you can make it modular and add on to it. You also have this nice little cutaway here for the micro SD card slot, so I can pull that out with my fingers there, put it back in, like that. So hopefully this is a nice little design that folks can leverage and use it in their projects and focus on what they want to do with their project. And if you folks have any cool ideas, definitely throw them in the Discord chat, and we'll take a look.
Discordia has been convinced to build one.
Sure.
In the Discord chat here.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe using it on their 3D printer.
This is one of my favorite little tripod doodads. I'll drop a link if you guys want it, but it's got a nice hefty
ball head.
Yeah, swivel ball head that has a nice knob, and it's like nicely machined. And this piece here is like a little foot. It's really, really simple. It goes like that, and then you can open it like here. Of course, you could 3D print this bit, but I like that it's nice ABS plastic, and this is all machined aluminum. So if you're looking for like low profile bit, tripod bit, this is a pretty cool option. I've been using it a good amount.
And also comments on the Discord from Discordia saying that, yeah, this would be awesome to add a couple of switches for taking photos and videos. Yeah, there is a example that Philip Brigues did on a Pi camera. I think they're actually using some of the software to make like the UI for having a little picture camera and video to easily take photos on there. Because the way that we're using it right now is literally through the console typing in, you know.
It's a little ridiculous, but hey. There you go. Cool. So that's it there, an ongoing test to play with, and a nice little start for getting just projects together so that you can focus on your project and print out something fairly quickly, hopefully.
I think we should probably segue into the Time-Lapse Tuesday for this week, since it is directly related to the Pi camera. And it is this awesome little 60mm C-mount adapter to EF mount. So we were scouring Amazon for one of these adapters, and one of the ones we found was only sold in the UK. But luckily, right before we hit that order button for a different one that was more expensive in the US, somebody uploaded this really cool C-mount adapter to EF, which we have a ton of these Canon lenses, and it, to our surprise, worked very well. So we're just using here the 10mm fisheye lens from Sigma, and it worked beautifully. One of the things that we're surprised about, besides the image quality, is that the threads on this worked really good. And here's some the images from that. Unfortunately, though, the Thingiverse file that this was uploaded with is kind of hidden in there. He added this to a sealable camera case for the Raspberry Pi, so it's kind of hidden inside of there. When I was looking through this, I was like, oh crap, they have.
This is really the piece that we printed. Yeah, it's the main piece.
So if you are interested in having like an outdoor weatherproof type camera for the Raspberry Pi, you can go ahead and print out the other parts for this. But the main thing that we were talking about here is this C-mount to EF adapter. And if you go over to the overhead, you can see how this guy works. It is a simple EF converter. So it's taken this, this mount here, and then having the proper distance, so you have the proper focus length for that, with these little, was that Rufio?
Yeah, he was like moaning. Snapping.
The little threads here that go onto the C-mount adapter. So it's this ring here that comes with the Raspberry Pi camera mount or module. So you have two of these that come with it. One is for, I forget the name of it. One's a C mount and the other one is a CS mount. And this is what screws into there. And again, super surprised that the threads, because they're super small, came out perfectly for this. So it just screws on like that. Whoa.
Makes a nice
nice loud noise on that.
You woke up the dog. So what the heck is that?
And then this guy mounts on. Have trouble finding the mount, and it goes on like that. I have to warn you though, the f-stop on this is electronically controlled, so you are going to need your Canon camera to adjust what f-stop that you're at. So whatever you leave it at on your Canon camera or compatible camera is what is going to be on here. Since you can't electronically control that, it will be stay at what f-stop you leave it at. So right now it's at 2.8. So if I needed to adjust this, which we kind of had to when we go outside, it's too bright out, during the day anyway. We have to adjust the f-stop that way. You can obviously control the ISO on that, so that may be another way to control it. But you are going to have to just be mindful of just how much heavier the EF mounts lenses are compared to the rest of the entire camera. So you are going to have to utilize a tripod to hold the 1/4-20 mount on that. But definitely a nice way to utilize lenses that you already have.
And to do some moderation there.
Oh, sorry.
Spammers.
So definitely a good way to, like I said before, use existing cameras. They are super high quality since they're all, the build of these, are weatherproof and they're all glass.
So I'll be on the lookout for other lens adapters. I think I saw some comments about, is there one for Nikon lenses?
Ones,
Is there, I haven't seen one yet, but there's definitely some options you can purchase. But I'll keep my eye out on the repo sites out there in the community for folks that are sharing different lens adapters. So that's really cool. Yeah, it's funny because I really didn't think that this was possible. Especially that thread, the thread pitch. I just didn't even attempt it. So I'm glad somebody out there did it, and it works. And I still can't believe it.
Yeah, first try actually too.
Yeah, nothing special. No special. Oh, it needs to be 100 microns, isn't it? Right?
No, this is just a
regular 0.2 with a 0.4
resolution.
nozzle. Pretty typical PLA, right? Yeah, maybe tolerances might differ for. Let's say ABS, I think it would have a little bit more shrinkage.
Yeah.
But I think maybe PETG should be fine as it doesn't have much there. There's a little bit less rigidity when it comes to the PETG, but it's a little bit more flexible, right?
Yeah.
At least that was my experience with the things that I made. But it might be interesting to print this out in PETG and see what are the tolerance differences there.
Discordia is saying that he tried this actually, but it couldn't get it to work on Cura. I'm guessing the mesh wasn't rendered properly. That's weird because that is exactly what I used to create to slice this for. We did this on the Creality printer and on the Ultimaker printer, and it worked just fine for that. So I don't know what maybe tried the fix. There are some plugins in Cura that try to fix the mesh, but I don't know, it worked out for me. And then they're saying that the
have we tried adapters for our Blackmagic 4K Pocket 4K cinema camera? So that's a micro 4/3. That would just be a micro 4/3 adapter to C mount. There are some.
We can link to the one that we use. It's about $250 or something like that. It was one of the cheap ones, and it does have a speed boost on it, which increases the f-stop on it. So a 2.8 f-stop it'll boost it up to, I believe it's
that's to adapt our Canon
2.
lenses to our Blackmagic. What about adapting the Blackmagic lenses to the Pi module?
So
it would just be here we go.
A micro 4/3, I believe.
Oh, here's the one that Discordia tried.
Oh yeah, this was not the one that we tried.
Interesting.
Oh wait.
No, it's different.
Yeah, this one's okay. Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't even have a thread on it, or maybe it does. It's difficult to see.
It's just so small.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Let me link to the one that we used.
Right.
You might have to add that bottom mounting plate on there.
Yeah. Right. That's going to help balance out the lens. Yeah, like Pedro was saying, it's kind of hidden in there. It doesn't even say in the description, but shout out to the Thingiverse user. Let me get your name correct. Asto right, who uploaded this. There's plenty of parts to it, and this is the main part that that we printed out. Yeah, I think I might need to try to remake this in Fusion so that it's parametric, and maybe we can add a tripod mount to the adapter itself. That might be an interesting thing to do. Yeah. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. Give that one a try. Excellent.
Yeah, we got
A lot of fun things you can do with this project.
Yeah, Andy Calloway saying that he's thinking a telescope for this.
Yes, we have a Celestron Telescope that we should definitely try to adapt to that one.
And then some of the other project we've seen was the Astro one, where it's like actually being able to track like the moon or certain stars, things like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So that's a good one to attach the new module to. So then have to check that out if you are looking to make a high quality. Yeah, I mean, this was Brent in the Slack earlier yesterday was like, man, I didn't expect the image quality to be that good. It's like, yeah, dude, same here.
Nope.
I was not expecting it to be as good at, the resolution is only, 1920 by 1080, but the lens on it, or the sensor that's on there is pretty big. So definitely a nice alternative, especially for the price too.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Cool. If any folks want to share some projects too, definitely feel free to share them.
All right, so that was last week's project.
Yep.
This week we have a nice little
This week is a nice, yes, it's a collab project with Liz Clark. And Liz had this idea where she is a guitarist, musician, and she had the idea, well, what if I could make my own guitar tuner? So she used the PyPortal and thought that the touchscreen would be a good use of remaking sort of these web apps. Like Fender.com has a web app where you can just click on the different tuning pegs and get an audible sound and tune to that. But you kind of have to be in front of your computer. With the PyPortal, you can kind of have it portable. Put a battery on it, and then you can have it wherever you want, wherever you are more comfortable. So it's a fairly simple demo, but it really shows you how awesome CircuitPython is, how quickly you can put this together. So I figured I'd make a case where the PyPortal can be secured and propped up vertically. So that's really the main thing of this case, is that we really didn't have a case that would have your PyPortal propped up vertically. And that is the orientation that works the best for this particular project. It's written in the latest version of CircuitPython, and it's using display IO library so that so we can use the buttons, the touch buttons here. So here it is. You tap on one of the tuning pegs, and it'll play the note 3 times. They're just WAV files. So all these are pre-recorded WAV files. That was, I think, in Reason. So they're like MIDI notes out of Reason, and then turned into WAV files, and then brought in through the USB storage. We wanted to amplify the audio. There is a built-in buzzer, but we really wanted to put a bigger speaker in here. So we have these really nice mini oval speakers, and they already have the Molex Pico connector, which just plugs into the back here. There's a nice little connector there. Plug it in, it just switches automatically. And the bracket, the plate here, the mounting plate, has a nice little spot for the mini oval speaker. The mini oval speaker has like these little peel backings and has like little adhesives. Didn't need it here because I like the ability to take it out and pop it out. So it's just pressed in there. And then you still have access to like the reset button there if you need to reset it there, because it is secured here. But it's just, secure with screws. It's fairly easy to unscrew that and take it apart, which is what I had to do a couple times. Another interesting bit here is this here bezel is like a bit of a screen protector. Without it, you can just pop it out. It kind of has these little snap fit tabs here, and these little ridges here hug and keep the display centered in place where it's supposed to be. and they're placed so that it's not obstructing the ribbon cable at the bottom here. Because I found if you have the tabs down there, it stops registering touch inputs. So having pressure points at the top is better than having them near the ribbon cable here. So if you do have a PyPortal and the adhesive is starting to come off, I totally recommend just printing this piece out and then snapping it on. I made sure that it doesn't cover up any of the artwork, so the cutout, the viewing area is nice and open, but it still kind of hides some of the stuff that you aren't going to see. Of course, now it's nice and sticky, right? Maybe the humidity helped, but yeah, there it goes. So don't do this, but if it has happened, you could either put another sticky adhesive there. It's probably from the humidity. It got like loose. So I definitely needed to design this little guy here. I made sure the tonsils are loose enough, but not too loose so that it still holds it in place there. So interesting little insight there to the screen bezel, and making sure that it's not applying pressure to the ribbon cable so that you can still touch it. Some other things that I found useful is whenever you're working on whenever you're filming or for taking pictures of anything with a display, there is just so much reflection. And one of the things that you can do to help reduce the reflection or just get a better image exposure is to tell the display to be as low brightness as possible. You can do that with one line of code. It's like display.brightness equals 0.01 or 0.1, and you can get a much cleaner look. So let me go ahead and open the Moo editor and show you guys the line of code and actually adjust it and show you guys what the difference is here. Let's see if I can trying to figure out how to quickly change the screen capture. If you want to take any comments right now, Pedro's a good time. There we go. So
Scordia is saying that they just glued their screen
right?
back on.
Yeah, that's cool. That works too, hey. So here's our display here. Let me make sure my Moo editors, yeah, touch A, okay. So my REPL's reading the stuff, cool, I touched A. And here is the line of code. You do have to bring in, you have to import the board library, and then you got to use this piece that says display equals board dot display. And then you don't need the rotation here. I just had it there. But here's the brightness. Display dot brightness 0.1. Let's do full on brightness and see what happens. You know what? It doesn't look so bad. Maybe on the webcam it looks. It doesn't look too bad. But when you're, I don't know, when I'm filming like with my iPhone or the Blackmagic Pocket Camera, it tends to be overexposed. So I find it helpful to adjust the brightness. But I guess you don't have to, depending on your camera setup. This webcam probably does really good auto exposure, so it's not looking too bad. Another thing is just the reflections. How do you block it out? Just have something that's dark colored and that can go over the camera. Right now, like just here in itself, that's what's helping it there. But hey, reflections. So that was a little tip, I think. Cool. All right, so let's jump to the
Discord. Liz is saying that she used the acoustic guitar synth from Reason and recorded the audio in Ableton.
Nice.
That's how she got the samples for that.
So it's essentially a soundboard, and you can customize the graphics and the audio files to be whatever type of themed thing you'd like. So it doesn't have to be a guitar tuner. It can be just something that like a soundboard for your podcast or something. So the Learn Guide covers setting up CircuitPython. So you can always, when you're about to do a CircuitPython project, you might want to consider updating to either the beta version or the latest stable release. And this, most of our guides have, I should say all the guides have this nice rundown of all the different libraries that you need to install. Like here. Liz does an awesome job of walking through the code and breaking down all the little bits so that you can really get an insight look as to how to display the bitmap. It's really easy with the PyPortal library. You can define what the background is. So you get your bitmap there. You can load your audio files this way. Here's a nice array of labels. So using the touchscreen buttons is a part of the buttons library. And here you kind of list out the positions of the buttons and the size of the buttons. And the actual buttons themselves, you can have some fun here and kind of adjust the style of the button. There's different shapes of buttons you can have. You can have it be transparent by saying fill colors none, or you can add a hex color like I did here for the outline color. So if you wanted no outline color, you could just say none or apply a color. I found without the button outlines, it's kind of visually there's not much of a cue to know where to tap. So if we look carefully, you can see that there are very faint boxes here, and those are the actual button outlines, so that you can get a visual cue as to where I actually need to tap. So that's why I added that in there. I think that is a little bit helpful for UX wise. And if you the gaps in between the notes being played, it's all kind of done through the WAV file. So depending on how long the WAV file is, and terms of time and duration, you can either speed it up or elongate it however you like. But the code just kind of has a really short delay in the loop, which we're not there yet, but here we are. Back over. Here's the loop. Here's playing notes. And there's the little time sleep there. So yeah, if you wanted to play more, you would just increase the range here from 3 to whatever number you'd like. Sweet. So check it out. And the 3D printing files are hosted here as well. I have the link to the stuff on Thingiverse, and you can get it directly from Fusion if you'd want to take that out. And also, of course, we have links to our GitHub repo for all the different Adafruit boards and components that are in 3D models, different file formats. So you can check that out by opening that in a new tab. But yeah, there's our PyPortal display with all the connectors and buttons on the back. Cool. All right, that's our guitar tuner.
Cool.
Actually tuned a real guitar. The guitar is it's in the other room. It's actually my nephew, Pedro's son, Gavin. It's his guitar. His grandpa gave him. It's a kid guitar. That's why there's plastic things on it, and it's a little bit smaller. It's kind of like a little bit oversized ukulele, but it sounds great now. It's still in tune, and it was a lot of fun tuning it.
Yeah, if you can tell that it was a kid's guitar by all of the coloring that was on it.
Yeah, there's you could use crayons and color on it, which is super cute. Yeah.
What's cool about this is it really reminds me of like the iPhone, the one-use iPhone apps back in the day, where it was just like they did one thing.
That's true, yeah.
And now it's
it's a full device. Yeah, it's like a
hardware.
Yeah. Your phone does everything, right? Well, sometimes you want a dedicated device just to sit there.
So you want to use it as a phone.
Right.
That's a really cool project, and yeah, check it out. Liz is in there saying that this could also be used as great for cosplay props.
Oh boy, that would yes, a Pip boy, a Pie boy, like from Fallout video game series. That'd be a great little wearable on your site here, just playing at different sounds. Or if you have something bigger, some sort of vehicle or something, you want to play some sounds, that'd be really cool. Also, having transparent buttons also makes so you can have, this is what Liz typed out, fancy UI backgrounds on a bitmap, and then just place the shapes wherever you need them without affecting how things look. Yeah. There's a joke. You can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish. That's a good one.
And Yanni is saying it'd be cool to add some motor controls to tune the guitar.
Oh boy, that'd be crazy. Yeah. Yeah, that's super next level project there. But the main, I guess, kind of goal and point to show is that you can whip this up in like half a day, a couple hours, something like that. So,
all right, cool. Let's go ahead and jump into, what are we, prototyping? And quickly to mention, we're not going to do the show and tell because we have the week off and combining both weeks of the projects, and there's just not going to allot enough time. But here's an update on the little slot machine. Coded up by Jeff Epler over here. So last week or 2 weeks ago, we were figuring out how to get like a little handle to actually actuate the button, and there was a really cool model uploaded by Thingiverse user Sunshine, who had this spring-loaded box. And the interesting thing about it was the built-in spring mechanism. So the way this works is that it has a little spiral on there that is controlling how the spring back happens. And that's so cool the way he did that. Whoa.
Sorry about that, folks.
So yeah, so the spring mechanism here is having it go back to its original position. And we have a little tactile switch button there that will be hit by, you can hear it there being activated. So have sort of a experience of having like a slot machine. So once this actuates, it'll hit the nice little slot animation. And I don't think we have the power.
Yeah, we didn't.
Power adapter
we didn't have
here.
enough time to set that up. But
I left it here.
What's awesome is we got our black LED acrylic pre-cut to the exact dimensions that would fit here. And what's really neat is you can take this out and it just slides out easily. So Pedro designed this little slit here that has perfect tolerances for the thickness of the material. It's frosted black, and it's not like your regular LED. There's definitely some magic stuff going on here because it does allow the LEDs to shine through, but when it's turned off, you can't see through it. How is that happening? One of the things I wanted to do was design some feet that would accommodate for the built-in thumb screws that are on here. These thumb screws come with this particular display, and they have like matte neodymium magnets as well on them, but they're really easy to take off. You can just unscrew them and they can come off. So there's 2 mounting holes here. There's 2 over here as well. And I wanted to make it so that it has some nice support here. So this little foot here helps it stay not so bouncy and doesn't tip over so bad. So it's using the RGB matrix feather wing, and the main brains of it is the Feather M4 Express. There we go. And here's the lovely display. It is so gorgeous with the black LED acrylic. It really makes this thing beautiful.
And just as a little before and after to show what it looks like with and without the black acrylic on there, you can definitely see the better diffusion on it that happens with this awesome acrylic material. See, like half of that. It's like just barely legible on camera on screen, but in person you really can't tell what it is.
In person it's like so eye-blindingly
blown
piercing.
out.
Yeah.
You can see the difference
Burns the retinas.
of that guy there. And again, we are looking to stock these the black LED acrylic from Tap Plastics. Like you were saying before, they do have the ability to actually cut this to the specific size you need. I will post the actual size on this if you want to go ahead and start ordering, since with everything going on right now, I think it's like delayed by about 2 weeks. That's how long it takes to get orders out. But yeah, definitely a awesome use of the protomatter that Phil B and Jeff Epler had worked on. And I think there's going to be more projects coming up for this. You can see the original code here on the Learn Guide that Jeff worked on. Link
Yep, and I am just putting it up. Yeah, so huge shout out to Phil B and Jeff Epler putting this together. The example is called the Adafruit machine, so you can check that out. I reworked the bitmap here, so I kind of redrawing all the little characters so that they are a little bit more sharp and more pixel-esque, more 8-bit-esque, because you know, it's a 64 by 32. So you don't have a lot of pixels to work with, so reworking it is nice than scaling it down, and it doesn't look too bad, but hey. And it looks like I think Jeff used like some paper here to diffuse it. That could also help as well. It does help tone it down.
Yeah, and one
a
of the
bit.
things that we were testing is like how far away we wanted to place this, so it still had was still, you know, you could see the pixels, but it wasn't too blurry. And we just have Sunshine, who joined into the YouTube chat.
Hey,
and,
Sunshine.
Yeah, check out. Used your spring mechanism to have like sort of like a slot machine thing where it actually actuates the button down here. So recreated inside of a Fusion 360 using the spiral tool in there, and just referenced your model to have that having a nice little spring back effect.
Yeah.
So we will probably
see if I
release
can
this
pull
next
up.
week, I believe.
It's called Spring
Box, I think.
Box.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the Sunshine's thing. Of course, I won't be able to find it now.
Yeah.
Maybe just type in Sunshine.
Also, there's a really bunch of really cool techniques that he shows in the YouTube video that's linked in that as well, like having a staggered, like the inside of the box, so you don't have all these overhangs. So definitely check that out. Super cool.
Do you think it would be in the likes? How would I get this?
I think it's in the
quickest way?
sheets too.
In the sheets?
Yeah.
Bear with us, guys. We really want to show Sunshine's Thingiverse post. Could be on other
it
sites
is.
too, but
I got it.
where can I get it? Over here.
I'm gonna post it in the Discord. It's a print and place box. So you can see where we're referencing this really cool spring back mechanism.
Okay, here it is.
So cool.
Thanks. All right, it's almost there, folks. Here we are. Pedro just posted, I think, the link in the various chats, but here it is now on screen. Turbo Sunshine. Thank you. So Turbo Sunshine made it into a box so that it springs open, and it really is an awesome mechanism I haven't seen anyone do before. So it's really, really cool. Check him out, give him a follow, and check out his content and designs. They're really awesome stuff. Nice use of mechanical properties and you know, interesting ways that and approaches to designing stuff for 3D printing. There's also an instructable as well that you can check out. And also just printing the piece itself, which is really nice, was really helpful. I don't think you printed the whole box, you just printed the thing.
He provides a file just for tolerance testing to get the gears to work without fusing.
That's pretty
cool.
interesting. Let's check it out.
So this is what I've been working on, and we'll release this probably next week. So cool. And I have a feeling there will be a couple more projects coming up with the LED matrices now that we have a good library for CircuitPython to run a bunch of really cool projects on there.
Yeah.
So definitely stay tuned for that.
Yeah, there's one of them on the blog that you might want to take a look at here. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, the protest signs.
Protest signs. There's code out there.
Yeah, I'm working on a nice little handle for it, so like you can use like a broomstick. So we're getting some threads designed for that, so you can hold it up.
Yeah, that'd be really cool when you do that. It'd be interesting to adapt this design, or maybe even the feet, so that it's nicely secured and mounted. Yeah,
I think it'd be like a framing on the back, and then that has the thread on there, so you can put it on a broomstick. Pretty cool.
Excellent.
All right. And checking out the notes, I think that is going to do it for this week.
We do have one last community make. Let's see if we can run through it real quick. The mini pan vise. It's a little vise that holds PCBs. It's got like a V shape for the teeth, and it was printed using the marble filament. And there it is.
Yeah, so sometimes when we're soldering little components like the Itsy Bitsy here, or what we actually used it on was for the feather matrix wing that's on the back of this guy here. Sometimes for filming purposes, it can get in the way of the camera. And one thing that I did not show on the time-lapse video is the way that it rotates. So let me get that back in here into the V shape for this. It goes in there like that. And again, I'm super impressed with the threading that was designed on this, specifically because it was, it's like chopped off, so it doesn't have to have any supports on it.
Right.
It's this part right here actually allows you to rotate it to get an angle, proper angle for soldering. So you can have it completely straight down, or you can have it on the side like that. And really good tolerances between the threads. I didn't have to do any horizontal compensation for that. And then this is actually a remix. They added like a little clamp
the V grooves.
Yeah, the V grooves for
the V-shaped jaws
for the PCBs.
Yeah. So shout out to Mickey Manu on Thingiverse for posting up this as a remix. Here's some photos of it. Here's the original design.
Oh, and it looks like I actually put it in there incorrect. It looks like this little thread is supposed to go in between.
Oh, there's like two sizes here. I didn't know there's a bigger one.
Yeah, there's a bigger one. Obviously, we want the smaller one because of the little boards that we're using to solder.
So what was?
This is supposed to be between here.
Oh, okay.
But still works.
Yeah. I'm the one who was soldering and using it, and I'm happy that I didn't burn it or melt it, the tip. This is a little bit of a problem. It does need some grip there, so maybe some rubber feed or something.
Rubber feed or like sandpaper so it doesn't slide around.
Silicone bottom or something. Even on the silicone mat, it was slipping around a little bit.
Yeah. So probably some sandpaper on the bottom would, or the feet.
Yeah, you can buy some, they're like meant for drawers. You know what I'm talking about? These little rubber mats for drawers, and you're able to cut them. So I was thinking about doing that, but again, time.
Oh, cool. So that is a very useful print there.
Cool. Shout out to the two folks who posted it on Thingiverse. Always nice to print out some tools and give them a try.
Definitely using tools to print a tool to make a tool.
Tools all the way down.
All right, cool. And again, like you mentioned before, it is using the marble filament, which comes out really good.
Yeah.
And this is just the, I think it's Solutech on Amazon. I think I posted the link 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Now that's going to do it for this week's episode. Don't forget, we have a bunch of shows coming up later tonight. We have full hour of show and tell.
Yeah, it'll be up. Yes, thank you. Make sure you're on Discord. That's discord.gg/Adafruit, so you can get the invite link. It'll be posted in the live broadcast chat room, so folks can join in and share what they're working on. And then shortly after, an hour after, at 8 p.m., Lamar and Phil will be chatting and sharing all the different things that are going on. Ask Engineer every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Programming note, this is 3D Hangouts. We do the show every Wednesday at 11 a.m. If you are ever curious to all the different shows, what are their times, we can use Discord and say $show times, or is it show time? Maybe it's show time. Can Discord help me? You can't even do it now. Let's see, let's go up there and find it. I'm not going to find it, am I?
No.
Great.
It's right at the beginning.
There we go. Why didn't it work for me? I guess it only works for moderators or something? Showtimes? Anyway, here's the whole list of shows. MakeCode live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesdays. 3D Hangouts, Show and Tell, Ask Engineer, Desk with Lady Ada, John Park's Workshop, John Park Show and Tell, and a deep dive with Scott. Shout out to Scott doing the deep dives every Friday at 5 p.m. It's becoming a regular. So there you go. Scroll all the way down. Oh, the bot's acting up. Of course, now that I've actually talked about it, I've broken the bot. I'm so sorry. Thanks, folks. All right, well, we'll see you guys on Show and Tell. We'll be there, and we hope to see you as well.
And remember to make a
great
great day.
Bye, folks.
See you later tonight. Bye.